Make a mental note. If you ever buy this from me, it has my DNA all over it. Just spit, you sicko. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we are giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Welcome to the Extreme channel. My name is Mr. X, and today we are reviewing the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3. That's right, this incredible 1/15th scale statue is made by Prime 1 Studio. Now, as a spoiler during this Extreme review, this may be my favorite one yet. That's right, I own a number of other ones. First one I ever bought was the T-Rex from the classic scene when we first saw it in Jurassic Park 1. And I plan to actually put this one right next to it, so they're kind of fighting each other. However, we're going to talk more about this in design. This is way bigger than that one. Maybe that's why I like it more. Then the second piece I got from this line was the Mosasaurus from Jurassic World. Now I plan to put this up against their Indominus Rex, which should arrive later this year. So if you want to see that one, make sure you've not only liked this video, but you've subscribed to the channel and you've hit that bell notification. My most recent one was this Triceratops, which you can check out the review as well. And as of today, they actually put up for PO another 1/15 scale T-Rex. This Rotundo one right here, which I plan on getting. I actually passed on the bigger version for it because it just doesn't make sense to have one that big of a scale. Also, it looks like the details on the new one are actually a little bit better. But anyway, I am in love with this recent piece, despite the fact it's probably from my least favorite Jurassic Park movie. But it did offer us a number of new dinosaurs and a lot of comedic quips from William H. Macy, who I'm a big fan of that actor. So this is the Spinosaurus, and to my knowledge, I am not a paleontologist. I do not know if this was a real type of dinosaur or something they made from the movies that InGen made. Now, I could Google it, but I swear, every time I try and Google something, guys with big cocks just floods my screen. So anyway, we're going to do an Extreme review. I'm so ecstatic that I have him because he did not disappoint. There are a few flaws, and we'll point those out as well. But first, let's start with the concept of this piece. Now, one thing they've been doing on these newer pieces is getting more and more elaborate on the bases, which I absolutely love. They're also keeping them all in line with each other by this bottom museum sub-base right here. So it has two layers, this black museum style on the bottom and top, with a nameplate, which usually I don't like, but I don't mind with these because it makes it a little classier, that not only says the movie it's from, but the type of dinosaur it is. Then in between those two black levels, they have all these fossilized bones. And every single one has a base like this, so they all look fantastic together. Now, they took this one, just like some of the other ones, from a direct scene in the movie. And it's actually right after the plane crashed, when he was rolling around the plane, trying to get to the characters inside of it. So you see a lot of vegetation and mud and trees and shrubbery, and in the midst of that is the plane that fell. You see it behind him, the cockpit in front of him, and he is moving, so this is probably towards the end of that scene where they escaped and he's trying to walk away, maybe right before he actually meets that T-Rex. His long, majestic body is just fantastic, all the way from his tail, all the way up to his big snout. I love every part of this. The spine on the back looks fantastic. It's like a screenshot from the actual movie. Maybe not specific to that scene exactly, but there's no doubt that this is from Jurassic Park 3, and it looks fantastic. And it's not just because this is very, very big. I mean, this is probably bigger than that Mosasaurus. If you want to see what it looks like next to the other dinosaurs, check out the Extreme channel's social media. There's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. The link for those is in the description below. But anyway, I think the concept is fantastic. I give it a 5 out of 5. This is exactly what I want. It's not boring like the Triceratops. It just screams badassery. Now we're going to talk about design. So I'm not going to show the assembly because it was only 5 different pieces, fairly easy to put together. However, in case you're a moron, come on, you know some of you are. They give you instructions on how to put those 5 pieces together. But we will at least look at the packaging. I could not believe how big these 2 boxes were. I did not expect that at all. They both had art boxes. I only looked at the front of one. I'm not a big art box guy. I never have been. Your Prime 1 Studios white foam, and on the inside it had wax paper. They no longer use that silk stuff. But this was the first box. It was the body and the other 3 pieces. And then here is the base in the second box. Now the 5 pieces consisted of the base, The dinosaur is one piece, and then there are a few sculpted leaves like this right here that actually just key in. Now you have a lot of mixed media shrubbery as well, which normally I don't like the look of this personally. When I'm looking at it right now, it looks fake when you look at it close, but as part of the diorama, I think it suffices okay, but not a fan. Personally, I would have rather have it all sculpted. Now, it is very cold here. It's actually below 0 today, but the dinosaur did not sit in flush. So you actually have to choose which foot sits flush. So I have the front foot not sitting flush right now. I do have a heat gun I can use to see if I can balance it out a little bit. I'm not too worried. I know it has been an issue with some of these. So let's measure him. The widest part is 29 inches. I like that they wrap the tail around the front here so it doesn't stick out farther. So the deepest part without the tail is about 14 1/4, and then the tail goes out another 7 or so. And the highest point is approximately 20 inches for exact dimensions. You can check out Prime One Studio's website. Now, let's talk about scale here. I'm just eyeballing it right now, but he is way bigger than the T-Rex, like way, way bigger. I'm gonna say 50% bigger. I know he was bigger in the movie, but I would say he's about 10 to 20% bigger in the movie. So either the T-Rex is underscaled or this is overscaled. So I think that's a miss, especially since it's part of the same line. Well, it's not incredibly complex. He's not sitting flush, which could be a temperature issue. Not a fan of mixing the mixed media and the sculpted plants. But overall, it does work, so I give it a 3 out of 5 despite some of those flaws. It's okay. Paint and sculpt is better than okay, in my opinion. They keep getting better and better with these dinosaur pieces. I almost want to go completely all in with the 1/15 scale line. Honestly, the only one I don't have on order is that new T-Rex diorama from Jurassic World with Owen. This piece right here, actually. Because I'm already going to have 2 T-Rexes, I don't need a third. However, I remember they did tease from Jurassic Park 2, where the 2 were attacking the trailer. I might end up getting that one. But enough about that. Let's look at the details of the paint and sculpt. All right, so let's dive in. The base is nothing we haven't seen before. One thing is the wax paper in the box got stuck to the bottom sticker, so you'll see some of that on the edges here. I got to completely get that off, but it looks fine. The museum style here, there is some dust on it. There is a lot of detail on the graphic, which is kind of nice. And then you have the same, it's a little bit different color variation for the bones and the fossils here than you saw in the other dinosaurs, because obviously it depends on who's painting it and what lot number they're using. Let's look at the base here. The mud looks good. Not great, but I think it looks good. It's solid. I don't think this was a very muddy scene, if I recall correctly, but maybe I'm wrong. They used a lot of different texture and a variation in the colors between brown and dark reds to really help it. I love anytime we get a water effect with like this clear resin here. It looks fantastic in my opinion. I also like the sculpted leaves. It has a nice gloss effect that really makes it look real. I think that's cool, as opposed to some of the close-ups of the fake plants. Like I said, I think they're suitable. I don't think they're amazing, but I think they're suitable. The tree logs look okay, kind of mixed in with the mud. Not really a fan of that. They should have used, I think, a lighter color to variate it a little bit better. The rocks aren't the best. And again, I'm not even going to see this part. I'm being pretty nitpicky. I think the fuselage of the plane looks fantastic. I love how it's not pure white. I think it was white in the movie, but it's already got the mud, the dirt all over it. I think some splattered mud would have helped a little bit, but you can even see chairs on the inside. Tons of detail, the plants coming through. That is pretty neat. Where it's broken off here looks great. The lettering on the side, and then here's part of the cockpit all smashed up. And again, you wouldn't see this unless you had a 360-degree view of the statue. So some pros and cons about the base, but you know, when you take a step back like this, there's so much cool stuff going on, and I can forgive a lot of those imperfections. I mean, I think this is going to score pretty high despite some of those. Now, the star of the show, Mr. Saurus here, I think the orange on the top, when you come from above, it's a little too much, but I think that's pretty screen accurate. I remember that there was some digitization in this fight because the CGI wasn't the absolute best, you know, however long ago this was, 20 years or so. But it was definitely there, so while I'm not a fan of it, I think it's pretty accurate. There is a big contrast on the colors moving from the body to the portrait here. But again, this is, I think, very accurate to the movie. The beady green eyes look great. And throughout this very scaly reptilian skin, even these tiny bumps in here will have this rock-like effect. And I always remembered watching this scene, I was wondering if it had the power of a chameleon, because the colors of it kept changing. So I think that's pretty accurate. The inside of the mouth looks great. The tiny teeth, all yellow. Clearly he doesn't get to the vet to get his teeth brushed too often. Nice glistening moist effect on the inside. Now the color on here, all the different scales, is really well done. Like, look at those variations. I think that's fantastic. And the sculpt alone on this is really impressive. Let's swing around to the back, where you're gonna see a lot more of the same. But I like these ridges, almost like spines, coming up into the spine itself. And there's all this battle damage, which I think is just some fantastic details. Scratches on its hide from other battles. Here's the nails down below. Very shiny enamel. Probably could have dirtied those up some. But I'm really impressed with this. Maybe the wow factor is overriding the lack of details. Some more battle damage. The anatomy on it. Really impressed. Start with paint. Like I said, I think the Dinosaur is fabulous. I mean, really, really well done. I like a lot of stuff on the base. Few flaws here and there. But I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 on paint. Sculpt is really good as well. I mean, I like everything about this. I like the base. It's a 5 out of 5 on that as well. This is going to be a killer piece for years to come if you're a Jurassic Park fan, at least in my opinion. Now let's talk about value. So this is $1,300, plus I paid a couple $100 shipping, which makes sense because the boxes were so big. And they made 250 of these. Now, this is the bonus edition, which comes with, I think this is the Velociraptor chamber. I'm not sure what that has to do with this particular dinosaur. I mean, I know they used it in the movie towards the end, and it's a cool collectible. Not something I'm going to use. I will put it with some of my other dinosaurs, but it's not needed in my opinion. Value, you know, Mosasaurus was more expensive, a lot more, I think like $500 more. So I like this better. So I think the value is pretty good. Although if I recall correctly, the T-Rex was like $700, $800. So it was a lot cheaper. So I'm a little torn, but because it's done so well, even though it's a dinosaur that's not as popular, I'm going to go ahead and give the value a 3 out of 5. I don't think a lot of people are going to be searching for this, but the true diehard collectors will search for this. And I could definitely see this going for a higher price on the aftermarket. I plan to keep it for a very long time. Now, does this have the X factor? Is this a 5 out of 5 statue? Well, I kind of teased that already. I alluded to it. This is my favorite dinosaur now in my collection. Even though obviously I'm a fan of a Mosasaurus or a T-Rex more than this, I love this statue. I think this is a 5 out of 5 in my opinion. I think this is going to draw people's attention, not just due to the size, but everything that's going on in the base, the badass expression, if dinosaurs can have an expression like we talked about. Well done, Prime One Studios. Really stoked to have them in my collection. Of the ones I've shown so far, which one do you like best? Remember, I read every single comment, and also that will enter you into a contest to potentially win a statue. We will be giving all of these statues away, plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. And thanks for tuning in with me, guys. I really appreciate it. Please drop me a like on the way out. It really, really helps the channel. I don't know why I did that. But also, someone's yelling. Maybe someone's being fired. I want to see that.